Let's jump right in. Today, we're doing something truly fascinating. We're going to put on our linguist hats and completely break down a highly unusual text. Now, on the surface, the source material for this explainer might just seem like, well, pure chaos. But as we peel back the layers, we're going to discover that it actually chronicles this grand adventurous journey. It's the story of a character named Chicky, exploring uncharted territories, overcoming epic challenges, and doing it all encoded in a completely unconventional language. Just listen to this for a second. Dagiki da jigi gigiki ana da jagi ya yagi da no wa. Yeah, wow. I'm reading this chaotic string of text with absolute academic seriousness here just to highlight the sheer absurdity of what we're looking at. Because to the untrained ear, sure, this is a total mishmash of letters and random syllables. But if we just dismiss it, we literally miss out on an epic voyage hidden right underneath these sounds. And that brings us to the core mystery of our explainer. How exactly do you tell a sprawling story of exploration and triumphs without using a single real word? I mean, how do you convey the massive scale of a grand challenge when you don't even have verbs or adjectives? Well, we're going to decode this exact phenomenon step by step to show you how profound meaning is built out of what looks like thin air. Section 1. The No English Paradox. A cartoon in English. So we have to address this glaring irony right out of the gate. We have the official designation from the source material which explicitly says cartoon in English. But contrasting that is the actual transcript we're looking at. Yawa wogi gigi gigi da. You don't have to be a linguist to realize there is absolutely no English here. In fact, there's no recognizable formal language at all. It relies entirely on nonverbal sounds to map out this uncharted world, totally ignoring the dictionary along the way. To really understand what's happening on this journey, we need a quick technical term, non-lexical vocables. Essentially, these are sounds that function as communication. They express pure, raw emotion without actually being recognized dictionary words. These seemingly random letters, they aren't mistakes. They are a highly effective and credibly universal form of storytelling. Because think about it. When you're venturing into the great unknown, you don't need complex syntax. You just need raw, immediate expression. Section 2. Expressions of awe, the power of wow. Let's see how this builds Chicky's emotional vocabulary, starting with the very first reaction any explorer has when finding something new. Wonder. When you actually break down the frequency of the emotional vocalizations happening here, it's wild how heavily the journey relies on wow, oh, and awe. This isn't random babbling. It's a calculated map of constant discovery. You get wow for awe, oh for the sudden surprise of a totally new landscape, and awe for that spark of realization when figuring out how this strange new territory works. Let's analyze a specific string to actually hear this in action. Wa-oh, you ya, ya, re a, wa a, gi woo, ha gi a woo. Do you hear how that starts? It's this long, drawn-out wah-oh of discovering an uncharted territory, and then it immediately accelerates into this chaotic babble as the sheer, massive scale of the new environment just completely overwhelms our explorer. The pacing of the text itself literally mirrors a rush of adrenaline. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Without standard structured sentences, Chicky relies entirely on these foundational sounds to show us its curiosity, wow, and oh essentially become the explorer's compass. They are the primary tools for navigating an uncharted world, signaling to us, the audience, that we're witnessing the absolute thrill of a grand adventure, not just some mundane walk in the park. Section 3. The Sound of Struggle, Slapstick and Aya. Now, as any adventurer will tell you, discovery isn't always easy, right? Exploring new territories inevitably leads to massive challenges, which brings us to our next critical category of vocalizations. Enter Aya. I want to define Aya with the gravitas of a major linguistic breakthrough here. In the context of our source material, it's the universal expression for sudden distress, physical struggle, or just straight-up pain. It is the sound of our explorer hitting a huge obstacle. And when you notice its frequent repetition, it tells us that this journey is heavily fraught with physical trials and tribulations. And this vividly illustrates how these sounds string together to form an actual plot.
Get this, in just 6 seconds, we get a complete narrative arc using only 3 distinct sounds. At 0 seconds, we have pure curiosity, bravely stepping into the unknown. Just 3 seconds later, aya, the grand challenge, the very real struggle of facing an obstacle. And finally, at 6 seconds, wow, the absolute awe and resolution of having overcome it. It's literally the hero's journey stripped down to its barest sonic essentials.
Let's hear exactly how fast this happens in the text. Tingjia wa'u, giwa aya ayatara. Right there. Right in the middle, we get that triumphant wa'u. But notice how it violently pivots straight back into the harsh struggle of aya aya. The adventure is relentless, guys. The terrain is entirely unpredictable, and the text just perfectly reflects this crazy push and pull of triumph and immediate peril. Section 4. Rhythms and musicality. The beat of the babble. Moving beyond pure emotion for a second, we really need to examine the architecture of this language. If wow and aya are the emotions of the journey, what's the structural rhythm holding this whole thing together? Listen to these recurring phonetic patterns. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, titi-titi-titi, tolti-tolti, kiki-kiki. This highlights the distinctly percussive nature of Chicky's vocabulary. It's not just random noise, it's a staccato drumbeat. It honestly sounds like the rapid footsteps of an explorer sprinting across a brand new landscape, giving the entire narrative this incredible driving momentum. Notice how the text uses these repetitive consonants, almost like a musical score, to indicate the environment itself. On one hand, you've got the sharp, urgent ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ta, which clearly signals danger, a frantic scramble over rocky terrain maybe. But contrasting that is the flowing melodic ta-ta-ta-ra, which feels so much like gliding, a brief moment of smooth sailing right after the storm. The rhythm literally is the landscape. And then, the journey just throws us a total curveball. Check out this line. Yeah. So we have this rhythmic, percussive babble, right? But then it suddenly collides with sparse, somewhat recognizable fragments, like divakamp. It creates this incredibly unique linguistic soup. It's kind of like our explorer has stumbled upon a strange artifact from a known language right in the middle of a completely alien world. It just adds such a fascinating layer of mystery to the whole adventure. Section 5. A truly universal language beyond words. Okay, let's pull all of this together to understand the ultimate genius of what we're looking at. Why is this seemingly nonsensical text actually a masterclass in global communication? Well, breaking down the process, we can see exactly how it builds a global audience. Step 1. You completely remove traditional linguistic barriers. I mean, no English, no Spanish, no Mandarin. Step 2, you rely entirely on those emotional vocalizations we discussed, the wows of discovery and the ayas of struggle, paired with that driving rhythm. And step 3, you achieve total universal understanding. The lack of real vocabulary isn't a limitation here at all. It's exactly what makes this grand adventure globally accessible to anyone, absolutely anywhere. Let's hear one final quote from the transcript to really drive this home. And wa erwane chichi chiki kiki kiki ium kitekada wa o wuji. It is just beautifully chaotic. It perfectly encapsulates the joyful anarchy, the vast unknown territories, and that triumphant wa-o of the grand adventure we've just decoded. It is, quite simply, a language of pure experience. Which leaves us with a pretty profound final thought to ponder. We've seen how effectively this text maps out a hero's journey. So if a story completely devoid of actual words can be felt and fully understood by anyone on Earth, what does that actually say about how we truly communicate? I mean, maybe the greatest adventures aren't told with our vocabularies, but with our shared human sounds. Definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself struggling to find the right word.